Hey everyone, this is Arsenal Fan Circle. We're back again Thursday night, and happy days. We got to win. We got to win. We got to win.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
know, that's the only thing that matters in football. It's results, and we can talk about performance down the line. But for me, going to Liverpool, put my neck on the line this week. I tweeted out that we would get one positive result from these two games, and it was a little bit touch and go, but um, due to a few players on our team and Arteta pulling things together, uh, we're seeing things happening with Arsenal. Uh, there's things happening. Listen, this channel is for everybody here, so hit the like button. It puts up the ratings in the YouTube analytics, and it brings more Gooners to this community. We're trying to build a community here that we can grow along with the Arsenal team.
We still
And
like so
go, yeah,
we still need 30 likes so you can sing for us.
yeah. We haven't gotten the 30 likes yet, if our hearts took a gut check, our hearts really took a check today. That's worth 30 likes in of itself. So, we're trying to build a great community here. So let's get on it. Everybody really would appreciate it. Introductions. They need no introductions. Tony, Gary, and Sam. Thanks everybody.
Hello.
Once again,
Hello.
Thursday nights. Um, Listen, I'm going to go around the house here, and we'll get our initial reactions. Uh, Gary, I'll go to you first since your heart seems to be tested the most.
Yes. Yes. My heart is still trying to recover. It's still trying to. It's like, wow. Yeah. I didn't want to have to go to penalties, but if this is the way it's going to end, I'll take it every time. But uh, oh man, yeah, and the ball just did not go in for them today, and I was happy for that. The post said, "Nope, not today, not today." Leno
Yeah,
said, "Not today." So
and you're talking about that header from Jota that
yeah.
was parried by Bern Leno.
Well, the Minamino shot that hit the crossbar and bounced out and away from the goal. That was there's nobody stopping that. I mean, Leno was there, but that thing was a rocket.
Yeah, and I have an interesting talking point about that goal, about that chance. So we'll just leave that for a little bit later. But Gary, your initial thoughts from Monday to Thursday?
Well, I expected us to have a better chance, during the FA Cup for sure, because their first 11 or 12 or 13, who didn't even play the last game is better than ours at this point. So expecting a better opportunity for us, and we had opportunities. They had opportunities. We were able to at least keep the game close and tied and pull it out. So good game. The results are what we want, so I'll take a win any day.
Yeah,
No matter how we go.
for me on Monday, I thought we not dropped, but we saved a few players for this game. Notably for me, Gabriel and Ceballos didn't start on Monday, so I knew they had a big parts to play tonight, and that was a big part of the case as well. Important for Arteta to reply to Klopp. What we're seeing here, hopefully, what we're starting to see here is the beginnings of a heavyweight contest. Arteta punches him, Klopp hits back with what happened on Monday, and Arteta was able to reply tonight with the team. We are not able to go toe to toe. I'm hearing Liverpool supporters saying, well, we didn't come out and really play. That's not what we could do. We've done that in previous years under Arsene Wenger. It hasn't gotten us very far. We got a few FA Cups here and there. We're not at that stage yet, and hopefully in the next 3 to 4 days we can get some players in. I don't know who their names are going to be, but we have to get some players in. But a great turnaround, and I'll go to Tony next for your take, Tony, between Monday and Thursday. And for you, Tony, what was your priority? For me, I want to say it now. The priority was the cup game because our lane is top four. We're aiming for top four. Liverpool are a level ahead of us, and for us to compete in the league is great, but if I'm going to take one result, I would like to progress in one of the smaller competitions at this point in time in Arsenal's revolution right now, the rebuild. So, Tony, take it away.
Yeah, the league could be nice for us to win since we've only won 2 of them. Wenger never took them seriously, so it'd be nice to go ahead and get one of those. But for me, I thought we'd at least get a point on Monday, but we didn't. It was nice to get the win tonight. I thought we should have been up 2-0 early on, and Liverpool took over, and Leno saved our asses for the rest of the deal, and we got some good penalties, kicks at the end of it.
And we will go through the process of picking your Tony Don Juan man in the match, but I think we all kind of know who that may be. So just save that for a little bit later. Yeah, Tony, the Mane situation, we didn't really talk about it enough on Monday. Definite sending off for me now that I saw it more clearly. He looked at Tierney, he saw Tierney coming in, and he put the elbow out. So, I don't know why Liverpool did not get the VAR treatment, Tony.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't look at it. I don't know why the ref didn't look at it. I don't know why VAR didn't. It's just a real short, quick, and they moved on.
And Sam, we have to hold our hands up and say, listen, in the Premier League at least, the Liverpool are a level ahead of us, but we were able to compete with them. I was a little bit worried that they were going to go strong today. They did go strong today, but we were able to match them, at least in some of the players we put out there.
Yeah, I mean, they had like a mixture of some of their second string, and they had a few first team players and second string, and they didn't really go very young. They only had a few. There's like maybe 2 or 3 young players there, so it was a different team than we met last time in the League Cup when they pretty much played an entire youth team. So they were definitely taking this more seriously now, and Arteta, of course, was taking it a lot more seriously as well, playing basically the team he could play, taking rotation, rest into consideration and everything. I think he pretty much put his strongest team he could out there. And like Tony said, which is in complete contrast to what Wenger did, because Wenger just didn't care about the League Cup. He just played all the youngsters. It was all the youth team, basically. Yeah. Maybe with 1 or 2 reserve team players who rarely played in the first team squad. Maybe he'll play a couple of them, but yeah, mainly it was just youth players. And so you see Arteta has been taking this a lot more seriously. And I would actually say that I was looking at on the paper today, looking at the lineups. I was actually thinking, of course, when you look apart from, Van Dijk and Salah, you look apart from them, you put them aside. Their lineup, I thought, was pretty much. I mean, you see that they struggle in depth. Liverpool. They've got a very, very good first 11, maybe 12, 13. But when you get past that, the depth is not really there. And you look at our squad. I mean, yes, they're not exactly world-class players, but I'm thinking, the depth in our squad is maybe a little bit better than theirs. Actually, when you look at what the team we could field there today, that I thought was actually slightly better than their team on paper, at least. When you look at the whole team under one, and so when I saw the lineup, I was expecting us to compete, give them a good game. But yeah, it's Liverpool. They're a strong team. They're always going to play strongly. It's Anfield. Even with no fans, Anfield is a tough prospect. It's a huge institution of world football. You go there. It's a psychological impact, no matter if someone's there or not. So yeah. But I thought overall we did well and we did our job. And unfortunately, had to go to penalties to do it. But yeah, it worked. And. I thought it was good to win today after Monday, and it's always a good feeling to progress and get to the next round in a cup, isn't it?
Yeah, and Norma said nice reward for beating Liverpool, Manchester City in the next round.
Yeah, it's a tough draw. Yeah, tough draw. Yeah.
Shout out to Norma. So listen, we will get into the quarterfinal draw in a little bit, but we want to linger a little bit more on Arsenal and Sam. What you talked about it already. These Arsenal players went to Anfield. This reminds me of another era. 1988, a young George Graham team, plays in the League Cup against Liverpool and gets a draw. You know, the Liverpool team in the late 80s were rampant. Rocky Rocastle scored that night. But I really feel that was a big turning point in those Arsenal players believing that they could go on that following May and go to Liverpool and get a result by 2 goals. And I think something similar could happen to this team. The self belief that we're going to get from, okay, not playing really expensive football, but learning to win and learning to be in these situations is only going to help those young players.
Definitely. I mean, it's all about development, right? You're learning from these games, and you know, when you play a tough game like this, where you really have to, you have to play your best, even though you're not in a top Premier League game, you're still playing a cup game at Anfield, and you're playing Liverpool. You still got to play your best, and it's games like this where the team learns, they learn how to do things, the hard way, and they learn how to get things done, and it builds confidence, it builds experience, and that experience is invaluable, because when you learn how to win, you learn how to win, tough games. It gives you that mentality where when you're in a similar situation, okay, we've done this before, we can do it again, and that means so much.
Gary, I had some notes earlier, basically, and we'll get into a lot of them. I was looking for Leno to be more secure, and I think he was today, both on the ball and in terms of goalkeeping duties. The other thing my notes said is here, Arteta's formation, and finally, I think Jurgen Klopp just paid Arsenal a huge amount of respect by playing Mo Salah. And what was the other player Sam mentioned?
Van Dijk.
Van Dijk, one of the more senior players at the front and at the back. And Mo Salah looked dangerous on Monday. I actually thought he would score tonight because he was knocking on the door on Monday. But Gary, lots of respect that Jurgen Klopp is giving Arsenal now.
Yeah, and he put he took two of his most important players and put them on, most senior players and put them out on the field today. And when I think about the game, the areas where they, were able to look really good was on that back line, clearing it. We had a lot of chances that they actually came in and just snuffed out and cleared the ball. Van Dijk did one right off the, it seemed like right off the toe of Eddie at one point. So I think they put their senior players out there, and where they had opportunities. So they had a lot of shots on goal. They, in their defense, when we didn't break him, when we weren't breaking them down, they were able to go in and clear out. So they definitely took it serious, and our players had to go out there, and there wasn't as many senior players, our top senior players out there playing, so they had to do it themselves. And you look at it that way, we did pretty well based on the fact that we had Leno and Ceballos, but Leno showed up today, and showed us how it's done on the back, in between the sticks, right? So
yeah, and we'll go to Tony for that one in a second here. Nice reward for beating Liverpool City in the next round. There's a lot of good teams still left in the competition. Expected Liverpool win, Stefan did, but the Gunners did well getting this outcome for sure. Salah does not fear me, but Mane does. He can tear a team apart by himself.
I was I mean, even though they went to their bench players, Minamino, kind of scares me as well. He's got that same threat that he can attack the goal at any time. The last time I think we played them when he came in, I think we won, but he definitely threatened us and was able to get some shots on goal. And same thing today.
He looks to be the perfect player to take over from Firmino.
Yeah, when they need a goal late in the game, they can bring him in, and I don't think, especially towards the end of a game, they won't be a big drop off. And he is, he showed it today. The Leno and the goal kept him out. So.
Leno on the frame, Tony kept him out. But Tony, the formation. It looked like 4-3-3 out there. Can you elaborate what happened today in the formation?
It kept switching at first. It actually started off as a 3-4-3, then they switched it to 4-3-3, and just kind of kept varying off. Saka played about 5 different positions.
Yeah. So Tony, was this a masterstroke from Arteta to sort of like like Rocky? He's punched boxing with his left arm, and all of a sudden he switches to his right. So Klopp wasn't really could not have been ready for that change of formation. We all thought we'd play three at the back.
Yeah, it's fluid like it had been. Today is more of a back four than it had been, but still kept varying throughout the match.
And Sam, what did you think of Pepe on the left hand side? Definitely a different way of trying to spark Pepe, maybe.
Yeah, I think he was trying to experiment a bit with Pepe because he's so one-footed with his left foot. I think he was trying to get something more out of him on the left side there. Maybe he can cut. Instead of cutting inside on his right, which wouldn't really be effective, he can maybe go outside and use his left foot better to cross and maybe create things. Because on the right-hand side, his major problem is, defenders show him out wide onto his right foot and he becomes completely ineffective because he can't really use his right foot. He's one of the most one-footed players I've ever seen. His forte is cutting in with his left foot and using his left foot when he cuts in from the right. But good defenders, good teams, they shut him down and they show him out wide. And so I think moving him out left, the idea was to be able to use his left foot maybe more effectively. But we could see he's not. That's an area. That's the side of the pitch he's not used to playing on. I think he struggled. He struggled playing out left. An unfamiliar position. And really showed. I don't think he had a very good performance today, to be honest. And it comes from being in a position he's not used to. I think Arteta experimented a bit there to see if maybe that's something we can use somehow. But it didn't really work. Pepe didn't really have a good game.
Sam, was it a brave thing for Arteta to go 4-3-3 or formation and dispense with three at the back?
I think the idea was definitely to do something different today because when you're playing the same team 3 days later, I think the idea was, listen, let's try something a bit different. And because he knew he was using different players as well, he felt he could maybe experiment a bit more. Because I don't think he was going to come out and do exactly the same thing. And I think that was good for many reasons. Like you said, I think it was good because I think Klopp probably prepared for a lot of the same as on Monday. So it sort of threw his plans a bit out of the window. And at the same time, it was interesting to see, how he deployed the players. Like it was a 4-3-3, but at the same time, you saw Willock coming in deep on the right to protect down on the right-hand side, protecting Cedric. And on the left-hand side, you saw Saka come down and protect Kolasinac. And at times Saka was a left-back and Kolasinac was an extra centre-back. So, it became that extra protection from the wide players at the same time. But then going forwards, it was a much more clear 4-3-3 where Willock was cutting more up forwards on the right-hand side, linking up with Nketiah. So It was a nice variation to see. I think it also took everyone by surprise when they saw the lineup, the way it looked. All of a sudden it looked like a 4-3-3 and took everyone by surprise. But I think that was a good thing, like I said, when you're playing 3 days later against the same team.
Yeah. Gabriel, I thought he had a pretty decent game there. This defender's growing and growing.
Yeah, and like you said, I guess he was saved for this game, and he came out and he looked solid out there. Definitely enjoy watching him play, and looking forward to him playing consistently more and more. I think like anything else, I think he needs more games, but he's showing that he's whatever the role is that he needs to play, he's able to to accomplish it. It's going to take time for him to be perfect and be exactly what we want every game in, game out, but I like what I see from him. We've had new players coming in. It seems always have taken him a bit of time to get acclimated to how things work. And every time he's been out there, I've enjoyed watching him play.
And he seems to be Gary seems to be growing as well in his role there and taking more responsibility from what I can see on the field.
Yeah, I mean, well, we saw that, right? The first game of the season, right? He came in and he's in the middle there, and would we have thought any of our players come in for the first time a couple of weeks before the season starts, going and start right there in the middle of the defense? He did it, and he's been showing us every day that he was worth worth us getting him in there, and hopefully by the end of the season we'll be so happy that he's here, and he'll just be a mainstay in that defensive line that we see back line every game. I mean, the one thing I did, I guess we were before I hand off, I guess we're talking about Pepe, and I think he needs a Snickers. You ever see the commercial where they give the guy, they give the person a Snickers and they just wake up? He needs a Snickers. He needs something. He needs a sugar rush because he's smiling. But I think I really want him with his hair on fire. I want to see what that looks like, because I think nobody would be able to just hold him down, right? Even if he has 1 foot and you try to stop it, it won't. I don't think it should matter if he. And that comes back to the confidence. Does he have the confidence to go in there and just say, you know what? I have a left. I don't want to do my right, but it doesn't matter. I'm still going to put on my left, and I'm still going to make you pay for it when you come out to play and defend me. I mean, it's like Maitland-Niles, right? He shows confidence every time he steps up to that spot, right? I want the same thing for Pepe. I know it's in there. I know he's got it. I know he's got the skills. I want to see it, because I know it's good what I've seen when he puts his head down and decides I'm going to go and attack the defender. He's done it. It doesn't matter how many defenders, but he's got it. I just want to see it more.
We have a lot of young players, and some of them show their class. It looks like it comes so easily to them. Bukayo Saka, of course, being one of them, and congratulations to him and being called up to the England squad. So recognition for what he is doing, and a lot of people will be wanting to watch England a little bit more now, because we've got a couple of members from our squad starting to infiltrate into the English international team as well. But Tony, one thing that was missing was Saliba, and it looks like that Arteta is really, really going to take his time now with Saliba. If he was going to get into this program of games, today would have probably been the perfect game for him, and I had him earmarked to start today, to hopefully start seeing in the 3 David Luiz, Gabriel, and Saliba, which I think is the near future for us. But we have to wait now on Saliba, and that's absolutely fine, Tony.
Yeah, and Arteta was talking about personal reasons and COVID and stuff like that, so he's probably fighting some depression and homesickness. Then we got to remember he only played 12 league matches last season. I think going back to the mental stuff, I think it's kind of some of Pepe's problems too. Just having to adjust to life in London.
Sam, we got to remember he's 19 years old. He's young. He's coming to a new country. He had an interrupted season with St. Etienne. So all of these reasons, we should show patience. And that's one thing I tweeted a little bit earlier was the board need to back the manager, and the fans need to back the manager with patience as well.
Yeah, I mean, Arteta is in a position to see close up, how the player is performing in training. It's mentally as well. He and his team will know the player best, and how he feels and how everything is. And I think they've just made the decision they're going to wait longer to integrate him into the team. They're going to take more time with him. I think that's a big surprise, really, because I do think we expected to see him earlier. And it's down to, like Arteta was saying today, post-match, he was saying that he basically really hasn't had a proper season with Saint Etienne. You know, he only played, as Tony said, he's really only played a few games. You know, and it's not really like he's had a proper season at Saint Etienne to do what he was supposed to be doing in development. So he's behind in development in that way, and then, like you say, seems to have a little bit of problems, you know, getting used to life in England and everything like that. That will probably improve. But yeah, I think it was just overall, I think everyone was just a bit surprised, because even when you take into account all those things, and of course we've got to 100%, I agree with you, we have to back Arteta in his decision his team's made to leave him out of the squad today. But I think the big surprise is, and it was certainly a big surprise for me as well, was him not being in the squad entirely today. I was expecting to at least see him in the match squad and maybe come on as a substitute later on to, you know, to just bring him in and give him like half an hour or something like that. I was expecting at least that today, if not starting, and to just be excluded completely. I think that just took everyone by surprise, because even when you take all the things into account, like, okay, maybe he hasn't had as many games as we like, but he's still been training, he's still been part of the first team squad training for a long time now. Well, you know, same time as everyone else. And for him to then not even be selected, you know, it doesn't really sit right, does it? But then, of course, these guys know best, and you have to trust them with it. And it's just a bit of a surprise, you know. I think it shows he's more behind schedule than what people think.
And of course, trust and Arsenal fans have not really gone hand in hand in the last few years. But we do have to trust him, and the situation in England with COVID and all that, it's not exactly like a normal 19-year-old kid in London now. He's probably, you know, isolating a lot. And the other thing as well, Gary, is that perhaps if he was only making the bench on Monday and didn't get this onto the bench today, then it means that Arteta was just bringing him along for the experience, you know, on match days, to sit on the bench, experience what's happening, and we needed to go a little bit stronger on our bench tonight.
Yeah, and you know, I did see that. I think one of the things that Arteta might be doing is just waiting for, you know, the Europa League to start up.
Yes.
So then when we have those games that, you know, if we were able to jump ahead in the group that we're in, and then we have those games where we don't necessarily need to put a strong team out there, that he'll get more minutes and stuff out there. But yeah, I mean, like Sam, I do want him to be part of the team in that seem, you know, be part of the team in the sense that, you know, he's traveling, you know, games once in a while.
Integrated.
I mean, what we saw in the MK Dons game, I was impressed with.
Yes.
For a player that hasn't played much, you know, and what he showed is, you know, there's some, you know, he's still trying to mature into the game, into his body probably as well, and there are things that he's going to have to learn when he gets out there, and I think some of that is going to have to come on the field. So if it's not with the first team, then it's got to be somewhere else, because I think he definitely needs minutes, even if they're small. If he's not going to get any with the first team, you know.
And
he did play in the 23. I got you know, I did take a look. I saw some of the snippets of that, and you know, it didn't really stand out there. But like you said, maybe he's still trying to get acclimated to the Premier League and whatnot. But I mean, it's, you know, from the snippets that we saw of him, it seemed like he was getting comfortable with at least being around the teammates and whatnot. You know, the pictures that we see him, seems like he's having fun there, enjoying himself. So I just, you know, I feel like I've seen. I mean, I'm not the coach, but I feel like I've seen a lot of him where I feel like he should be able to get some minutes, right? You know, towards the end or in these types of games, and you know, maybe in the FA Cup he'll get more minutes there. But
the Europa League draw is coming up on Friday as well, so we're going to see who we get drawn with. Stefan, thanks for joining us. Slap a like before you leave, if you would, and have a good night's sleep, knowing that Arsenal have progressed into the next round of the Carabao Cup, and we're not going to play quarterfinals until mid-December, so that's going to help us a little bit. Tony, that's a good thing because we've got the Europa League and the Premier League now to concentrate on, right, Tony?
Yeah, let's focus on the Premier League. Would be my main focus right now, trying to get
Yeah,
points.
yeah.
Right.
But Tony, I wanted to not come away from Anfield. Obviously, it's Liverpool, and it wouldn't be a disgrace if we lost both of these games. As Rule has said here, the Saliba situation was expected. Some fans expected him to start every game. Yeah, I wasn't one of them. I just expected him to maybe start this game. Uh, but Tony, was Liverpool. And I'm just happy we got out of there with a positive result um, in this game.
Yeah, I thought we'd get one. I thought we'd get one win, and then Monday I thought we'd get a draw, but we didn't. So
Yeah,
it's nice
yeah.
to get one positive result out of this week.
Gary, Liverpool fans were giving cricket scores about what would happen tonight. 6-3, 5-2. I'm just happy. Okay, are we willing? Are we happy now that we are getting results? Not the results of 8-2s, 6-0, 6-3s, 5-1s twice at Anfield. We all remember those recent days. I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of expensive football in order to get these kind of results.
Yeah, I mean, we're putting ourselves in a position to win games, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes today we weren't able to put the ball in the goal, but I think we put ourselves in positions to make this a game where we actually score and fade it as well. So we like that. And that's what we want. So I feel like, yeah, I mean, there are, like anything else, there are things that we can improve on, things that we're going to continually want to get better from game to game. So like for me, looking at the past game and this one, there's things that I wanted us to see. I wanted us to take those chances when they came. Today, I didn't see us take those chances a couple of times. So when they go back and look at the tape, I'm hoping they see that, because we had opportunities today where we should have taken the shots and we didn't take the shot at all. And we saw that in the previous game. So I want to see us improve each game, because when you get out there and you're a forward or you're attacking and you got a shot in front of you, you got to take the shot. You can't score if you don't shoot, right? So
yeah, and it's both of those players, Gary, that are vying for the same position, Lacazette and Nketiah.
Yeah. And Cedric had a chance today. After Pepe, didn't take the shot and the ball came back to him. He had a shot. It blasted over the crossbar, and then a couple of minutes later, he had another attempt, right? And he didn't take the shot. He passed it. I think he did a back pass, which kind of dribbled, and the defender was able to get in there and intercept it. And it's like, why don't you just take the shot? I mean, I want to see us like, sometimes you look at the stats, and I think at one point it was 10 shots to 2 or something like that, and you're like, well, is it because their defense was so good? Actually, not today. Today we didn't take the shot. We didn't take some of those shots, and no shots on target. At least Eddie's would have been on target if he took it, right? He was dead right there.
He was right there on the doorstep, right?
Right there. The only person that could have stopped it was the goalie, and he never got that shot. And so at least today, I think some of those stats were misleading, because we definitely had the opportunities, and I just wanted to take the shot, take the chance. Worst case scenario, it may go in, right?
Yep. And we are one of the worst teams in terms of the amount of shots that we take on goal. But we are one of the better teams in terms of converting the chances that we do get. So we are living by the Aubameyangs and Lacazettes being so accurate in front of goal. Lumbercamp, Ruel, and Norma, thanks for joining us. Lumbercamp, I don't mind Arteta taking his time blooding Saliba into the team. He's young, and we don't want him getting spun against quality teams and losing confidence. Exactly right. So we have to be a little bit patient here. Ruel, one of the things Arteta is trying to do is dampen the expectation of fans on Saliba. I have also understanding that he has lost his mother sometime this year, so that's That's something that I did not know, and that's interesting as well. So a little bit of understanding as well is important, Tony, because these players have families and they have feelings as well, and they bleed red and they cry and laugh as well, Tony.
Yeah, I think people just see them as meat and forget they're actually human beings
Yeah.
and they have things going on in their lives that we have.
Or our most expensive signing, or the kid from Brazil that just cost 8 million or 6 million. Hopefully he gets back soon, Martinelli. So let's do that. Um, Norma said, like what Frank Lampard said, Klopp, first title you won and you're giving it the big one. And Sam, this thing about Arteta, humility. I can see us hopefully in the next year or two getting in a position where we can challenge Liverpool, and they're not going to be as good as they can't be as good as they are every year. They're going to decline a little bit. We're going to improve a little bit. Are we seeing the embers of some kind of a rivalry that's going to harken us back to the late '80s, early '90s?
That's a good question. Possibly. I think our trajectory is on the way up. I think we are improving and progressing. I think if Arteta gets the players he wants, I think we're going to see even more progress this season, and that's going to set us up nicely for next season. He's got a 3-year plan, where at the end of the 3-year plan, we're winning the Champions League. I know it sounds crazy for a lot of people now, but it's.
I'm on board with that.
I think it's something that can happen. You saw what Klopp did at Liverpool. So I think Arteta, with the right players, again, he has to have the backing. The right players have to come in. He has to get the players he wants. If those pieces of the puzzle, come together, I think it's a possibility. So we're on an upwards trajectory, and then they're now at this difficult position now where they've done the things they've wanted to achieve. Right, they've won the league. Breaking records. Doing an absolute historic league win. They won the Champions League. I'm talking about not this past season. Obviously they've done the big things.
Yep.
So now it's maintaining that level. That's what's difficult. That it's that winning again and again and again, maintaining that level of motivation. Performance. For me, that's been the most impressive thing with Ferguson, is winning titles back to back. I mean, it doesn't happen very often in the Premier League. You see, it doesn't happen very often. And Ferguson did it a couple of times. So winning that Premier League back to back is not an easy thing. It really isn't, because it's a tough thing. And I think another thing now is this season we're seeing. I know we're still early doors. We're only three games in now, but I think we're seeing the contours of a season where it's going to be much more open race than what we think. I mean, you see Manchester City, they're chinks in their armour. You see Chelsea, they've definitely got a lot of things they're working with. Tottenham, problems all over. Liverpool, they are probably the favourites at the moment, but just because they are still showing some level of stability, they do have that good first 11. But they're not firing on all cylinders either, and they will have problems. And with some injuries and things like that, they're also going to have some problems. So with a marathon that the league is, with 38 games, I think we're going to see some surprises this year. I think it's going to be a more open race. I don't think it's going to be that two horse. Run, to the finish where there's two of them running ahead of everyone else. I think it's going to be a lot more open this season, and we've got some dark horses in the race as well, like Everton. They're showing themselves to be better than what everyone thought.
Yep.
And also we've got teams who we thought would be good or doing better that at the moment are performing under expectation, like Wolves. Wolves have started quite poorly. Sheffield United have got a definite hangover from last season. They're struggling from last season. So, things aren't quite going as expected, and that opens up for opportunities. So if we, and I think this is where we're going to be very clever. I think if you think the league is a 38-game marathon, not a sprint, it's a 38-game marathon. You take each game as it comes, if we're winning enough of these games, these 38 games, right, and not dropping points apart from, of course, we're going to drop some points here and there. Everyone does. But we can, during these 38 games, I think we can get top four. When you look at what's going on in the league now and the way the teams have started these first 3 games, I think we can get top four. And then from there, you've got that great, transitional step then to the next season, which hopefully we can really push maybe even further to the title.
Yeah, and that's Arsenal fans, if you found this channel, stick with us, join us, subscribe, like. We're on a journey here. It's going to be a long and winding road, but we're on a journey here. I believe we're going to be challenging Liverpool, and we're going to dig deeper into that. But I want to take a question here from Lombard Camp. Tony, can we realistically win the Europa League this season? We need European glory.
I don't know if we quite have to do it. I think it's possible we could, but I think we still need a couple more signings.
Yeah, and Tony and I tend to not agree on a lot of things, but we kind of agree here. I think our eye has to be on top four, and our whole season is going to be consumed with the race for top four, and it has to be. The economics dictate it. Arteta is going to be focused on that to get the cash, and we're going to have to maybe take our eye off the Europa League a little bit. I think ostensibly we can get through the early stages with a lot of the players that played today. But, when it gets down into spring, April and May, we're going to be focusing on the league, I think. Gary?
Yeah, I guess I have a different thought process on this.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, we have the 38-game marathon, but I feel like we have individual battles that we have to attack, and we have to try to win all of the battles, because I feel like we need to be trending upwards, right? So, and we can't do that all in one shot. So we can't take what we do today and then in May look back and go, yep, see, we did it. I think we're going to have to take it step by step, baby steps. Every time we get out on the field, we want to see the future of Arsenal, right? We want to see where we want to be at the in years to come, in that second and third year. So I feel like it's one game at a time. I want to see, like, you look at Liverpool. You look at Liverpool. Yeah, sorry. You look at Liverpool.
Prioritize every game. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think they it's one of those things where I've heard that what the team, the type of players that the team is looking for isn't just in the first team, isn't just on the bench, isn't just on, in the higher ups in the academy. It starts all the way. So it's a plan that everybody's on board for. And I think that's what I want to see. So it doesn't matter who's on the field. I want to see whatever the coach's vision of his team is. So if it's, I'm hoping, part of me is like, well, everybody says Arteta wants a 4-3-3, right? Is today one of those things where he's like, I'll put it out there because I know, this is where I want to go. And if I have, my youngsters doing it in games that, not as, I'm not going to have my first team out there trying to do this against the likes of the Liverpool, but this is where I want to be. I have some players that can do, but I don't have every piece that I want, for this to work. But, I want to see that natural progression that, whatever the coach's plan is, it's going to be there for everyone. Everybody's going to be familiar with it. So when we do go to the bench, or when we do go to one of these other tournaments and cups, that the play looks similar, right? We don't have to change anything significantly. We know now that all the players have to be interchangeable. They have to be able to, like, we look at a Saka, for example. He can play pretty much anywhere on the field that we want, and that's what he's looking for. And I think he likes that in his players. Yeah. It's like, what is his one spot? We don't know, but you know what he does? He can get on the field at any time, in any place, because the coach knows. You know what? I can put him anywhere I want. I like that. I like that, and to take it back to the beginning. I just want one game at a time, and I want to, like, when the new guys come out there, I want to see similar improvements from them that I do from the first teamers when they come out as well. So I look at it as every day it's another challenge for us, and I want to see that.
You want to prioritize every game, but
Not
here's
prioritize in the
here's
sense
the
that
little
yeah,
on
but I
my
don't want to
shoulder.
sacrifice. I don't want to sacrifice players for that. I mean, the mentality coming out should always be the same, right? I'm
Right.
always coming out. So even if I'm playing the last 11 players on the field,
No matter
the
who.
mentality is still the same coming from the manager, right? He's not changing, right?
Yeah.
The players are, but he's not changing. So his mental, the way that he looks at each game is going to be similar, if not the same, because everybody's on board with the plan.
No, definitely. I'm getting, and I think Arteta is going to get to that point where he wants the hunger for every part of the squad to have that hunger, and maybe we're not going to be able to fight on all how many fronts? 4 fronts at this point in time. Europa League, FA Cup. We're still in the Carabao,
Yeah.
thankfully, and because Carabao is the priority now, right? And the Premier
Well,
League.
no, like you said, you want your players that are on the bench to be fighting for a spot, right?
Yeah, and
We
getting
always,
minutes.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think in the past we've always sometimes some of us felt that the players on the bench were like, you know what, if I play, if I don't, it doesn't matter, and we don't want that. We want those players that want to be on the field and play. They want to score, they want to defend, they want to stop shots, they want to be out there, right? Or else that's when that's why when you have to go to your bench, you want them to be just as fiery
Gary.
and hungry.
Gary,
Yeah.
all of them except one. All of them except one player wants to be out there and plays.
Well, no, yeah, exactly. No, but I want to. Well, it sounds like two now, right? Isn't it at least two
Maybe
right
two. Maybe two. Sam, what's your take on the Europa League Lundberg camp?
You know what? I agree with you. It makes sense that when you're getting towards the end of the season and we're looking at prioritizing, okay, we need to rest players, or when the fixtures at the end of the season start coming thick and fast, do we prioritize the league if we're looking good for top four, or do we prioritize trying to win the Europa League? I agree. We should prioritize the league. But the thing is, and this is the thing, I want to make this point. The one thing so many fans of the other big clubs hold against us is we have this huge lack of European glory at Arsenal. We really do. We don't have many European trophies. We hardly have any.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been in a few finals and lost them, but actually winning European cups. It's the Cup Winners' Cup in '94. And it's the Fairs Cup in 79 or whatever it is.
80, yeah.
It's hardly anything. Our European trophy cabinet, unfortunately, is quite poor. So, for me, I would actually. I know it's maybe not. It's not the consensus in our fan base, but
yeah.
I would like to see us win some European trophies to show that we are, at the top of Europe within that tournament we're playing. I would really like to see that. I would love us to win. I would love us to win the Europa League this season. I really would, to actually get some European glory for once that we haven't had since 1994.
Mm-hmm. It would really baptize Arteta in the European scene, and
exactly.
In doing that, he would be in good shape to go into the
because I think just to finish my point. The thing is, I think this is the one thing where I think a lot of managers they're scrutinised. It's okay, you're doing well domestically, you're winning FA Cup, you're doing well in the league, but can you take it to that European level? Can you win a European trophy? That's where the big managers, that's where they compare each other's records, right? So I think for Arteta to win something on a European level, that's going to be important for him to do. I know he's got this 3-year plan of winning the Champions League. That's the big goal at the end of the line, but winning the Europa League now look at this. What kind of statement that would show? I mean, not only do you get automatic, an automatic place in the Champions League by winning it, but you're winning the second highest tournament in Europe, right? So it means something.
It would mean something. It would mean that Arteta is one of the great coaches in his infancy, having won a domestic cup final the season before. He goes on to win a European trophy, the Europa League.
Then you can talk about progress, right? That's progress.
Then you can talk about Stan Kroenke definitely backing him because he's going to be a coach in demand, probably irrespective of whether he wins a trophy this coming season or not. He's going to be a coach in demand, uh,
Yeah,
hitting a 60% win rate. Gary?
yeah. No, I was gonna say the reason why I think the way I do is because if the goal is top four, if we have a top four team, then I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be, making, getting deep into some of these tournaments because of the play that we have. And when we know the stronger the team is, the stronger the backups are. And I feel like it's a gradual change, right? We're not getting knocked out early in some of these tournaments. We're making it further than we expect. We're challenging when we get there. And I think I don't think it's one of those things where you're just going to go top four and then everything else we're not going to do good in. Because I think that when you're doing that good and you're in the top four of the league, for example, midway through the season, those players that are sitting on the bench, they want to be out there enjoying that time as well. And when they get out there and they play, they want to fight for those spots and get in those games as well. So I feel like it brings everybody along, and that's why I always feel like it's a game by game. And I do agree that I do understand that you are going to take you are going to look at certain tournaments in certain ways, and players won't play. But I feel like the mentality of the team, all 25 or 28 players that are on it, needs to be in step
I
with the
understand what you're
manager.
saying. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Gary. Yeah, no matter what player is out there, whether it's Guendouzi or Ozil, there I say it.
Well, no, if they were part of the 25, which right now they don't look like it, right? Then they would be out there playing just like all the players we see that come out and play, right? So I'm talking about the 25 that are going to be on there come Tuesday morning, right? Or whenever they have to, make that list of players that are the 25 that are playing this year, and we know it
on the quota.
Yeah.
December, thanks for joining us. You're always here. Love it. What we want to see is build a community here where we get our same names coming in. We want to add a few here and there. So if you're watching the podcast and you have the stream, put it on your social. Let someone know we're live right now. Somebody who's still gassed about winning the Carabao Cup. I know it's one of the minor trophies, but we beat one of the better teams in the league. So probably the best team. And Sam was talking about it being an open league earlier, and we're going to get into the Premier League. It's my specific viewpoint is that Liverpool are probably 2 tracks ahead of the next team, and it is going to be a dog fight from second down to 6th, 7th, 8th. But Liverpool really have all the tools. They should repeat, and if they don't, it's on them. You know what I mean? If they don't do it this year, like Sam said, it is not easy to defend your Premier League title. We know that. We've tried to do it a few times.
We didn't do it with the Invincibles, did we?
No, we didn't do it with the Invincibles or the pre-Invincibles. That was possibly even a better team in 2002. Assembled the Europa Cup can be used to blood new players and underperforming stars. It doesn't mean anything until the knockout stages, quarterfinals onwards. And Lumbercamp said he was gutted when we lost in Baku. Timing was a little bit off, but if we had Arteta for that final, it's debatable, but I think we probably would have won that game.
No, not only that, but I think we would have finished a lot higher in the league, right? We would have got the spots that we were looking for. So
we would have had our feet up.
I mean, I've watched us crawl over the line multiple seasons where we've lost just enough points just not to make it in the top 4. And it's and that's and that probably leads me to another thing is the game's 90 minutes. We got to play 90 minutes. The season's 38 games. We got to play all 38 games the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to hear this more than once from Gary this season. The league is 90 minutes and 38 games each, right?
Yeah. We can't.
That's the kind of standards.
Well, I had a quote here, and this is what I remember for when I was when I was an athlete, and as a basketball practice, and towards the end of the practice, the coach sees everybody kind of looking at the clock, knowing practice is almost over. So then, what do? They take their foot off the gas, right? The coach sees us lagging. Next thing you know, the whistle blows. All right, we're doing suicides. up and down the court because he's like, you know what? You don't know when this game's going to end, so you don't know when this practice is going to end. You've got to be ready to go 100% of the time from minute 1 to minute whatever the last minute of the game is.
180.
Yep.
I was checking the odds. We're favorites, and Spurs are second favorites. I think Jose will target the Europa and Carling Cup this season. Just hope they bottle it as usual. Let's dive back into this embers of the rivalry because I really wanted to dig into this for a few minutes. And Tony. All right. Do you call those 2 draws that we had wins, or do you call them draws, Tony?
I call them draws.
Yeah. Okay. So record reads: Klopp versus Arteta, 1 win, 2 draws, 1 loss. Pretty even right now, but we have the embers of a rivalry starting, like I just mentioned a little bit earlier with Sam. We're getting a little bit better. Liverpool are pretty good right now, but they're not going to be good forever. In about a year or 18 months from now, we're going to have some real, hopefully we're going to have some real good rivalry games with Liverpool.
Yeah, hopefully all confidence gets draws or wins or whatever you want to call them in the cup games. It should help our confidence later on. It should translate to us being able to go to Anfield in the league and finally getting.
And Tony, we're going to get to a point where I'm okay with Mane right now, but that's going to build. There's going to be a hatred building where we don't like Mane because I didn't notice this, but you can put a compilation together of all the things that Mane's done with his feet and his elbows, and these are things that fans hone in on.
Yeah, he's a naughty boy.
Yeah, dirty.
Gary, you looking forward to the next 18 months if things progress for Arsenal?
Definitely looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to
Klopp
it.
versus Arteta.
Yeah, no, definitely looking forward to it. I think he's moving in the right direction, and it should be good. I mean, one of the things that, as you were talking about Mane and some of the things that he does, I think right now we are trying to get, so people always talk about trying to get our Arsenal back, but I think we're trying to get our respect back in the league. I mean, we played 2 games against Liverpool, and in that game there were multiple times where they just ran over us. I mean, it was one point where they just pushed us right out of the way, and yeah, it was because we were getting in their way, but it was, I kind of looked at it as like, you know what, they're not kind of respecting us at all right now.
Was that the game where Oxlade-Chamberlain played and he knew he was going to be
in the last 2 games I've seen things like that, so that's what I mean, like, and it's not only from the players, it's sometimes it's in the foul calls that are being made or not being made at all,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I think in the last 2 games there were calls that I would expect us to get, but we didn't, and then they would go the other way and it would work, and so I feel like we need to be able to stand. We're going to have to fight through that for now, I think, and we'll be okay. We keep our heads up.
Gary, what was I going to say? So Klopp versus Arteta is going to continue on, and I just think that I was watching a podcast, Liverpool podcast, and they were not giving us any respect. I felt like saying, you're going to play a game tomorrow. You're not in the next round. You haven't won the Carabao Cup yet. You're going to play a team that's pretty decent. You know what I mean? The respect is not there, but hopefully, and I get it. We were there. We were top of the pile. We were looking at our rivals coming up and batting them down. Liverpool have been batting Chelsea down recently, and that's something I'm really, really proud of. Arteta, I don't think he's going to get embroiled in shithousery that Frank Lampard, just frankly, no pun intended, but frankly, made a fool of himself on the sideline when he went after Klopp there at the end of last season. I don't see Arteta doing that.
Yeah. No, he seems like a real professional coach out there. He's most concerned about what's going on in his clubhouse, what is going on in his locker room, what's going on with his players in red, and what everybody else is saying, he could care less. He doesn't really have time for that. I mean, there's too many things going on in the Arsenal camp to worry about what's going on outside, I think. So he's got a lot of things he wants to do. He's got a lot of things he needs to do. He's got a lot of things he's going to want out of his players.
Sam, I'm just amazed that, seemingly Arteta's turned the ship around so well in the space of 9 months now.
Yeah, and it's down to the he's obviously it's the way he is as a person, his persona, his character, his attitude. He comes in as a very, very demanding, strict, disciplined coach, and he knows what he wants. He wants what he wants, and then he basically says, if you're not on board with that, then sorry, you're not. You can go somewhere else. And he's made that very clear with both Ozil and Guendouzi. And it's that type of discipline and demanding coach we've needed, right? Because with Arsene Wenger, unfortunately, he became an old dear friend, didn't he, to everyone? He was also friendly and there's no demand there anymore, with Wenger. It's just all respect and he's Wenger, and we have to listen to. He's like a dear grandfather, that everyone respects. But I mean, that was the problem, right? The whole Colney Crash situation, where everyone was so nice to each other, and you couldn't tackle each other hard, and you couldn't shout, and no one could shout at each other, and you saw that transferred itself to the pitch, and that's where the decline came, right? I mean, that was part of it. So for Arteta to come in and just say, listen, that's then, this is now, and that's it. This is it. This is the new expectation.
Gary really wants to jump in, I think.
Yeah, no, I was going to follow on with, or at least add to and let Sam continue, but I think that's where someone like Kieran Tierney kind of comes in, because I feel like he might be that person to kind of, at least from what I've seen so far and what I've heard, that comes in and look, it's not all just wearing the shirt. That's not all. There's a lot more that goes into it, and I like that about him and what he brings to the team, and I think that's where we want to go, right? We want to get to that place where you're out there fighting, you're out there treating everything that you do as if you're on the field playing a game. I like that.
Exactly. It's like one of the first things, he comes in and does. He just sets the standard. He's just like, this is it. This is the new standard. You're either with it or you're not. And it goes down to the players as well. The players he's bringing in are going to be players that meet that standard. It's because you look at the locker room, how important the locker room is. You see that the key to every successful team is a good locker room. You've got a disciplined locker room, players who work for each other, give 110%, and who can criticize each other at a professional level. Constructive criticism, and they're demanding. The players that demand to win, they want to win every single game, no matter what. That level of mentality is what you have to have with your players. That's what we used to have back in the Invincibles era. We had the Vieiras, we had the Adams, we had the Sol Campbells, we had Henry. For them, winning was just the absolute. That was the most important thing in your life, was to win. That's what we didn't have after they left. We lost that mentality, but now we're getting it back. I feel now with Arteta and his demands and his level of expectation, he's bringing that in now with the players he brings in as well. Gary brings up a very good example with Tierney. Tierney is one of these players. He's a demanding player. He wants perfection. He wants everyone to be in line and to do the right thing. And, with players like that coming in, this is going to breed itself through the change, the locker room as well with the players. And we're going to get this mentality, this winning mentality back.
The other thing as well, under Arsene Wenger, and I'm wearing this shirt to thank Arsene Wenger, because he brought Mikel Arteta to the club as a player, and Mikel Arteta may not be our manager today if Arsene Wenger had not done that. So got to give respect to Wenger. Wenger, Wenger was the manager who had all of these players, and all of these players were self-motivated. As Sam just mentioned, he reeled off all those names from the Invincibles. They were self-motivated, and perhaps we've fallen foul of that because those players were exceptional, and the generations that came after the Henrys and the Bergkamps, they were not self-motivated. They have not been self-motivated. Um,
Yeah.
Under the back end of Wenger's career, and then under Unai Emery, and going to Baku, uh, those players were not self-motivated. Emery did his best, but players can see when a manager is weak as well, and they saw that with Emery. Unfortunately, he was weak, and Arteta has changed things immensely in the last 9 months. So the Assemble said the manager doesn't win trophies. That's true. The players do, but he does convince them to win and he motivates them to win. And there are non-negotiables. I'm going to go to Tony then just to finish off this point. Tony, there's non-negotiables with Arteta, and things are changing um, very quickly. Rule said take every competition seriously, but the players have to take it seriously, and Arteta's going to see to that, Tony.
And I think that was last season. The players didn't take it seriously. In the 8th of October, we were setting third, and they just gave up on Emery, and we went crashing out into December and
Yeah,
just
and
poor results left and right.
and go ahead. Tony doesn't like when I cut him off. Go ahead. Tony don't like you.
Now the players, they know what's expected of them, but we still need a proper captain. Tierney needs to be handed that. I don't think Uba should be the captain. I think somebody like Tierney that demands the best needs
Oh,
to.
we're going to touch on Xhaka a little bit as well. You know,
I
big
do
man
have
captain.
I do have something I wanted to say about the that post the chat that you had up there previously.
Yeah.
So when I get a chance, let me know.
Go for it.
I do agree that players win trophies, but I do believe that if you don't have the right manager in there, the players won't. They won't reach their
Optimum.
their optimum performance levels that you
Mhm.
want to see out of them. I mean,
Yeah.
I believe Leicester City, with the manager that came in there and they were able to win the league. I know you look at the Chicago Bulls. They were a really good team. They got a different coach, came in there and look what they did.
Yeah.
You see it time and time again. Teams just do not reach their full potential, right? And you put a different manager in there, and they're able to reach that perform. I mean, who would have said that? Looking forward 2 years from when we first saw Mustafi to now, that what, there's a good player in there. Under certain situations, he can actually perform to the coach's desires and get everything. The coach can get everything he wants out of him.
Yeah.
Maybe not 100% of the time in every game for a long stretch, but it's in there, and he's able to do that. So I believe the manager is the one that helps those players that we all think can win championships actually fulfill those expectations and get to the top of the table essentially. Yeah. So. Right.
Mobe Gunner put in a question, but I just want to finish off. I'll get to your question then, Mobe. Just want to finish off a beer section here. Gary, you got a beer?
I do. Yeah.
All right. So this is from Saucony Creek. It's called Hexerai, and I picked it because Arteta has a hex over Klopp.
I just went with the old traditional Yingling, just an American brew.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Here's to Arsenal progressing
Yeah.
to the next round, progressing to a quarterfinal. Yeah, listen, there's only 4 trophies up for grabs for us. It's not the Premier Trophy for us. We're not going to win the Premier League. But the question here from Mobe is, Sam, I'll go to you first. Finish 3rd and no trophy, or win the Europa and finish 6th?
To me, that's a no-brainer. Out of those two, you finish sixth and win the Europa League.
Yeah.
Because you win a trophy, a European trophy, which I said
let
is so
me,
important, and you get in the Champions League that way anyway. So you get a trophy.
All right, let me put a caveat. Let me put an extra. You know what I'm going to say, right? The Europa League does not give you entry into the Champions League. Which do you go for? With that caveat.
That does make it more difficult because for me, I want Champions League. You want to be in there with the big boys. You want to be there in the top tier tournament, even if it means you're not winning that trophy. You want to be in the Champions League. That's where it is. That's where the stars are, right? So I would then have to say it's finished third and not have the trophy.
Tony, answer Mobe's question and answer mine with the caveat.
I agree with Sam. You want to finish sixth and win for Europa, but with yours, you want to finish third
in the Champions League.
Or bust.
I have a feeling Gary might agree with that as well.
Well, Arteta wants to win the Champions League, so whatever I think helps us win that Champions League in his 3-year plan would be the Europa win, right? Yeah. Because where else? I mean, you're playing teams that were in the Europa League, but the season, that season, so. It's not like it's an easy run at the end. So and if that's what he wants, that's
Lombard Camp and I think alike on a lot of things, and trophies are more important than anything. I mean, we had a crap season. We finished 8th, but we saved our season by winning the FA Cup. I would have been happy last season with those young players getting an experience of being in the final. But once we're playing Frank Lampard, you want to win that game all day long. You want to see Frank smiling,
Yeah.
The oddest thing to me is Arsenal started to invest in injury-prone players when the main part of the season comes. Most of the players are injured. Why are the fans surprised? That's what we bought. The problem with Arsenal and the squad that we have right now, Sam, is that we have a lot of players. Some of them you could argue if they're hungry or not, that we've just been talking about. But definitely we have them on high wages, and it's very, very difficult to move them on.
Well, that's our main problem is I think is the wage bill. I think we give players too high wages, and it gives us a problem further down the road. When we're trying to offload them, it becomes very, very difficult. We can see the situation we're in now, where several of the players we're wanting to offload their salary is so high. It's becoming a huge issue for the next club because unless the player's willing to take a huge pay cut, they're just not going to move on. They're going to stay stay the remainder of their contract. Özil is a prime example of that, and we've got a few other examples as well of players on high wages, and that's a problem. It's we need to be more pragmatic with our wage bill. We need to pay players a bit more, a bit more. A normal wage level, because we seem to be paying them too much.
Yeah, and Mobe, to your addendum to your question, I'm willing to forego. I hate to say this, I'm willing to forego the FA Cup in order to get Champions League. If we get in the top 4, that's the minimum requirement, I think, for me this season to get into the top 4. Does anyone disagree with that?
Yeah. Whichever gets us into the Champions League, right? Yeah. That's what we want to do.
Next question. Sorry, Gary. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I did see there was a chat in there that was talking about the players that Arsenal has and them not being desirable, right? And the one thing that I know, and at least in the business world, is that if people don't want your employees, then you're not running a really good shop, right? Because that means you're not doing a good job, and and you see that in some of these teams where you're like, well, why are some of these players that haven't even played getting picked up for these big salaries? And sometimes that could just be that when I look at that team, I see them progressing in the right way, and so maybe those players just cannot get on that team because they're so the perception is that they're just not good enough to start on that team, and then maybe I'll pick them up. So I think here we don't see that with some of our players. We've at least the perception seems to be that we're just going to let you sit and rot on the bench, and That's not what you want. You want, like I said, you want 25 players that want to be on the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 7 that sit on the bench can't wait to get on the field and play and show what they've learned and what they've practiced. So you want that.
Yeah. Urban Ghost, thanks for joining us tonight. Listen, difficult question now. Granit Xhaka, Tony. You're just the first person I'm asking. I'm not singling you out, Tony.
Sure, we believe you. Yeah, sure.
And by the way, Tony, he did have a pretty good pass for one of the first chances tonight on 7 minutes, where Xhaka does play a lovely pass out to the left wing where Pepe was stationed. Pepe cuts in, passes to Willock, and KTA takes a couple of touches. But Xhaka played as captain today. Are you okay with him being captain? Are all things forgiven? Wow. Okay. We're going to be split here. We're going to be split on this topic. What's your feeling, Tony, on him being given the captaincy again?
I just think it's a joke, the way he disrespected the fans, the manager of the club. He shouldn't ever be handed the armband again. We were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, Stan and Gary and you, that he's probably that sneak in there and end up getting.
Yeah, we did say that he would sneak back into Arteta's lineups as captain. Are you okay with him being captain once in every other game?
Nope. Never.
Whenever Aubameyang's not playing?
Never.
All right, Gary, got to go to you next.
I'm also on this. I do believe he can. I believe he can earn it back if he wants to. If he wanted to, if he wanted to work hard and show us that he could. I don't think he earned it back at all. I don't think he was even given the opportunity to earn it back. I think he was just given to him, and I don't agree with that. If this is the type of team that you want to build, the type of team that I feel like we want to build, that's not it. You don't do something like that and get back that band that quickly. I mean, I think it takes some time.
How do you earn it back, Gary?
Well, I think I believe he's earned it back with his teammates. I think his teammates are happy with him. I don't believe there's any animosity there with him. So I think as far as that part, I think he's got his teammates in his corner. Mm-hmm. I mean, I like to see his play show that as well. I mean, today we saw the bad Xhaka again with, what was that? Why did he have to go out his way to get a yellow card today? He
dragged out of him twice.
And holding the same thing, he almost got a yellow card as well. And it's like, you're grabbing him on your side of the field. He still has a long way to go to even threaten your goal. There's no reason to do that.
Yeah. You're not playing in the Champions League where you're playing a dead rubber game and you want to be ready for the quarterfinals. You know,
and those come back to haunt you sometimes, right? Because when you need this also leads me to, those types of strategic fouls that you see some of these teams do that just stop a run, that stop an attack, and you're like, that happens to us consistently. It happened to us today multiple times. We're on an attack and they make a foul, kick the back of our leg as we're going by. Yep. And we don't do the same. I don't know if it's because we're nice. I don't understand that, because we definitely need to be able to stop them. But
we certainly stopped doing that.
Yeah, those are things that teams do to us that we don't do back, and I don't get it. But like I said, in regards to Xhaka, I think he needs to earn it back, and he hasn't earned it back. At least with me, he hasn't. And like I said, with the teammates, he probably has already because they like him.
Yeah.
But I feel like what you're doing on the field also isn't. That's not what a captain does.
Sam, Go ahead, Gary. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, that's it. I actually had it as a bullet point here that I was going to talk about when you got to it. So, yeah, that's my point.
I have to apologize. I do this a lot. I'm trying to be better. I cut in when I think you're at the end of your.
No, I did hesitate because I was ready to move on. So yeah. Sam, go ahead. You can continue. Sorry.
Sam, just add to the topic and add this question, Sam. Is it a little bit easier without crowds in the stadium to do this?
To do what?
give him the captaincy every once in a while?
I don't know. I don't know really if that really comes into it. Really, I think just Arteta's just made his decision, and that he's giving him a new chance, a clean slate. Giving him a chance to start over again, and that's Arteta's decision. I'm going to back Arteta on that because I'm backing the manager. But I don't agree with it at all. I think Xhaka, first of all, he's not good enough. I think we need to find someone who's better than him for that midfield. He's, I don't want to go through a whole Xhaka discussion why he's not good enough again. We've done it a million times. But it's the whole, what he did on that day for me is just unforgivable. You just can't forgive that. He did things. Can any of you on this panel tell me another player, another captain of another team who has done that?
To their fans, no, can't.
No.
Maybe Suarez.
That's what that guy did. He took his armband off, threw it to the ground, walked off,
took his shirt off,
abusing fans. There were children in that crowd. He's telling them to F off very loudly and clearly. And then he comes off and he takes his shirt off and also throws that to the ground. I mean, you haven't seen a captain in another club at top level do that anywhere. So what that guy did that day was, for me, absolutely unforgivable and inexcusable. Yes, I know he was under a lot of pressure. Emery didn't help the guy by keep playing him, and the fans were not happy with him. I know that fueled it. I know there was a lot going on in social media where he was getting personal threats. His family were getting threatened for playing. And listen, I don't condone that for 2 seconds. That is terrible. That is something that has to be handled by the police as a separate issue through social media and the law and the legal system. But as a professional football player, right? I'm not trying to say this is any excuse for what happened with social media, but as a professional football player, you have social media to deal with, and I'm sure he's had threats before and had issues before, and many other players do as well. That for me is not a good enough reason to go out and do what he did. He should handle that better. He should handle it in a completely different way. And what he did that day, for me, is, as I said, inexcusable, unforgivable, and he should never have played for Arsenal again. He should have been sold in the next transfer window, out of the club, goodbye, sorry. You are not good enough for Arsenal, and what you did that day shows an attitude and a level of your character that we don't want at this club whatsoever. Sorry, that's it. End of.
Yeah. And one of the things also that if you're the captain, right? If you're the captain, and
it's a whole different level of expectation.
If your teammates, one of your teammates got pulled, and not only that, but if you remember at that point in the game, what was happening? He was coming off because I believe we were trying to make a strategic change to bring on somebody to increase our attack in the game to maybe get the goal that we needed. I think to tie to get the match or to win it. Right at that point, if you're the captain, right? The captain knows this. He knows that somebody's coming out of this game so that the coach can put in an attack or give somebody a break because they've been tired. That's what a captain know. They know this, right? They know strategically what's about to happen. You can see him just walking really slow, and
slow as well. Yeah,
and that's when the fans were like, "What are you doing? We're trying to win this match here, and you're doing this now. You're doing this now.
Yeah.
We're trying to win a game. That's why that's not a captain. I do agree. I do think you can earn it back, but that's not a captain, and you need to do a lot more than what he did to get back that ban.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't matter. And like we said, we all know what's going on in the social media. That's not right. And they dealt with it before social media was there, with the fans in the stands, the away fans, all of that stuff. When you're walking out to the shops or whatever, all that stuff still happens today. And you had to treat yourself as a captain, even when you don't have that band on your arm. He didn't do it. He didn't do it, and and that was the state of the team at that time. I mean, we look at Auburn now, and we're like, is he doing the things that a captain does? I mean, he puts his arms around the guys, but when we're in the heat of the battle,
Yeah.
he needs to be that same guy putting his hands around the guys, going, "Look, we got this. Get me the ball. I'll put it in the back. I'll put it in the goal. Don't worry." That's what you want from your captain when he's a forward, right? Get me the ball. I'll get in there and I'll score. That's the one thing I remember from Van Persie is that when we got him the ball, he put it in the back. He put it in the goal, right?
Yeah.
And that we need that captain to get up there and say, "Look, I got this. You know, I got this." If he's the defender, right? If it's Virgil van Dijk, he's like, "Oh, look, they're pressing us, but don't worry, we got this. I got you. Jump on my back. We're gonna see this one through." That's what you want from your captain. You don't have that captain right now. We don't have that voice on the field. Luckily, like you said, we don't have any crowds, so we can hear Arteta barking all the way, throughout the game, like a captain does. But we need that captain on the field too, because Arteta won't be heard in every game.
No.
I for one am going to take the opposite point a little bit, just because.
Shame on you.
I do disagree with you, but it's also good discourse is good for a podcast, and people like to see differing opinions from time to time. We're a harmonious podcast, but there are going to be points where we differ on things. Sam, Gary, Tony, I did not like what I saw in terms of what he did with the shirt, what he did with the bands, the captain's armband on the day. Time is a great healer. You realize he was under a lot of pressure, and you realize it was due to the coach as well. Time will tell you all of these things. That Emery kept picking him. It was an untenable situation. The players, the fans hated Emery at that point because we were getting terrible results. He's walking off the pitch. It's 2-2 with 20 minutes to go, whatever it was. And get the hell, you should be running off that pitch to get the next player on. And but I do feel for him on a human level, the abuse he got. You can be a £72 million player, or you can be a £6 million player. You still hear the same abuse the same way, and you should be treated the same way in terms of your valuation as well. But no, I don't think you should be brought back in to be captain tonight. But it's obvious that if there's no David Luiz and no Aubameyang in the team, then he's going to get the armband, right? Now.
No, it's you don't. I don't think you have a captain at that point. I mean, that's my thinking, anyways. If you don't have a captain, you don't have
someone
else. You don't have a captain.
Just look for someone else. You just say, Xhaka, sorry, you lost your chance that day, mate. We'll go to someone else. I mean, today, let me think today. Okay, just sit quickly on my feet here today. If it wasn't Xhaka, then Lacazette. No, sorry, Lacazette didn't start, did he? Sorry, don't know Lacazette. Then I'll give it to
it's
Leno.
hard, isn't it?
Give it to Leno.
I was just about to say that Leno, when he's clearing those shots that come at him time and time again, that's what your captain does. He shows up when you need him, right? It's point blank range. I'm going to stop this shot. That's what he does. That's what a captain does. He brings that. Brings that assurance that that confidence that I got this, right?
Leno, give it to Leno. I would have given it to Leno. Yeah.
Perfect segue, Tony. Take it away, Tony.
There we go.
Good job, Gary.
That was Sam started it. I was about to go there, so good job.
I almost had to give him a 10 out of 10. He was so good with getting the 2 stops on the ball kicks and the 5 or 6 great saves they made during the match. It's pretty easy to give him the Don Juan man of the match.
To Bernd Leno.
Bernd Leno easily wins it. The only other player that really had a great game was Saka, playing 5 different positions, but still no contest for Don Juan as easily Leno.
And what did he say after the game? I was the number one. I am the number one. Right?
Yep.
I was the number one, and now I'm the number one. So,
sure I'll be the number one too, is what he said.
We won't go over the two goalkeeper thing again, Gary, but to have Bern Leno getting back to something like he looked shaky to me on Monday, and I think that was a team thing. Liverpool, those first team players of Liverpool have been doing that for years, and we're going to have to go some in the next 3 or 4 days to get a couple of players in and actually start playing like them a little bit or to that level. So any goalkeeper would have been a little bit jittery on Monday, but he definitely redeemed himself tonight.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't feel like in the last game he was that bad or anything like that. That he improved 100, like leaps and bounds from one game to the next. When shots come at him, he stops them. He stops a lot of them. He gets a lot more than I feel like he should, and that's due to the line in front of him some games, due to the just the game, the playing style that's happening, some of the gaps that are being left open. So I feel like, and that's where I don't know if he got the ban, if he would change, because that's one of the things I feel like his communication with him is that I want him. I feel like when he's making those stops, I see him, I don't see like that fire when he gets up after making a great stop. Like, I got this, guys, like just follow with me, help me out a little bit, but I'm going to stop the ball if it gets past you, and that's what I want from him. I feel like if he's going to be the captain, that's what he would be doing. You look at some of these leaders on teams that are playing goalie, they're fiery, right? When they get out there, I mean, the most fire I saw from him when he was on a stretcher, getting taken off the field. I want that same fire during a match when he's getting pelted with shots, stopping all of them, and he's like looking at the defense, like, yeah, we got this. Just do your job. Keep me upright. I don't need to have to die. I don't have to die for all of these. I can stay clean if you want me to. But those are the type of things that you're going to get from your captain, and maybe it's in there. He needs it to come out. Maybe the band will help it come out. I don't know, but I would like to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead, Sam. Hey, Alonso, what's up? How are you? Hope you're doing well.
Hello.
Tell us what you thought about the win today, fellow panel member Alonso. Gary?
So, say it again.
Did you have anything to add to tonight? We're going to talk about the penalty shootout really quickly. Then we're going to go through the Premier League review, and we're going to talk about the best results for us, Arsenal, because it's all about this thing here, the badge.
Yeah, no, I think it was good for us to get those young players out there. I do want, hopefully they got a taste of a really intense game, and they're able to use that for the next time they come out. Any opportunities that they missed, I want them to come out and be able to take advantage of those. So that's what I'm looking for.
How's your heart now, Gary? Better?
It feels better. It feels better. Even though we went, like, I'll listen to some of the videos that are out there, and as soon as they bring up the person with the X in front of their name, I'm like, oh, man, do we have to go there? And even that, I'm calm even with that. So I'm feeling better. I'm looking forward to the next match and the next test. Right, this is another test coming up for us again.
Next one is Sheffield. We're going to touch on that real quickly. Gary, one final question on the cup game tonight. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, how calm are you when he's taking that penalty?
Yes, he is a cool dude, right? He gets up there.
Do you feel the coolness?
He's like, okay, all right.
What about that smile to Alisson after
when
that smile?
When he looks
it was
back.
Like, yeah. I just did that to you. Yeah, I did.
Tony, was that the best penalty tonight?
Yep.
What was the worst penalty apart from El Neni? Which one scored that was really bad one? Were they all good penalties?
They're all minis.
Everyone that goes in is good, right, Sam?
Well, yeah, that's the idea of them, isn't it? They got to go in, right?
When I saw the goalie go down on Willock's shot, I was like, "Oh, is that? Oh, it did!" Because you see it, and you're like, "Oh, he got there." It's right at the same time, and it just squeaked underneath them. You're like, "Yes, we'll take that."
Oh, we move on to the next round. That's us done with Liverpool for a few months. We'll see them next year. I hope they do whatever they do. They're okay, and we'll march on. Any final words on the game, Tony?
No, it's just nice to get a win and continue in on the cup.
Bloody great to get a win. Think of what this podcast would be like if we didn't win. We'd be talking about Xhaka for 37 minutes rather than 7 minutes.
Having more beers.
Even this game, I don't think it was it was anything on him that he did or any one person did. When you go to penalty kicks, it's over. You can't fault anybody at that point. And they didn't score enough on us, and we didn't score enough on them. So,
well, for me today, I don't think anyone really stood out today with I would say, very poor performance. I mean, yes, Xhaka didn't have a great game, but it wasn't like he was doing mistakes left and right. He was just not really up to a good level. He was doing made some stupid decisions with the ball, passing backwards and sideways instead of forwards, that's his major problem for me, is when he's got an opportunity to pass the ball forwards, he doesn't do it. But I know that's a whole different discussion anyway. But I don't think anyone really had a really bad performance today for me, which was encouraging, because last game we had a couple of bad performances, right? In Holding and Bellerin, and so today I think overall we did quite well, and it was good to get the win. If it's a penalty shootout, you need to win it. It's just, at the end of the day, it's all about winning, isn't it? And that's what we did. And now we've got quite a good record recently against Liverpool. I mean, Community Shield, FA Cup. So and now the League Cup today. So I think that's progress. We're talking about progress. That's what we're seeing.
Move forward. Okay, great. We move on to the next round. Let's talk about the Premier League review really quickly. And we're going to go through these games. I'll give each of you one game. So we do it quickly and get through it. And pick the team that is best for Arsenal. If you're picking a dog in the fight and you want Arsenal to benefit from this. Chelsea versus Palace, Tony.
Crystal Palace.
We want Crystal Palace. Chelsea will probably be one of our rivals for the top four, exactly. Who do you think will win?
I think Chelsea will.
Okay. Gary, Everton versus Brighton.
Definitely Brighton, I guess, if that's where we're going, yeah.
That's the criteria. That is the criteria as set by the host here.
I think we need a redemption game for that. So as far as
we're gonna go through this Premier League review, and then we're gonna go through the quarterfinals really quickly, because Everton are gonna they're involved in the quarterfinals. But Leeds versus City, that's a good game, Sam. Leeds versus City.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. I think Bielsa is going to give Guardiola a little bit of a run for his money. At the end of the day, I do think City will be just that slightly bit better. But I'll tell you what I would do if I was a gambling man, and I'm not, but if I was a gambling man, I would put at least £100 on that game tomorrow, getting more than 2.5 goals.
I'm not a gambling man, but I'm going to put 100 on.
I was saying if I was I'm not, but if I was, I would actually feel quite comfortable putting £100 on that game getting more than 2.5 goals, because those two teams are scoring goals. They're scoring goals. Leeds and Manchester City, they're scoring goals. So
it's going to be an open game.
That game's going to have more than 2.5 goals tomorrow. So I would definitely put some money on that.
Yeah. I'll take Newcastle Burnley. This is just the list that comes up here, and I'll go for a draw. It's a really easy, low-hanging fruit for me there. I take Newcastle. If I'm going to go for the win, I'll take Newcastle. I don't like Sean Dyche. Tony, Leicester versus West Ham.
West Ham.
Remember Charlie? Yes. And Charlie will be happy. The West Ham supporter will be happy to hear that, right? Gary, Southampton versus West Brom.
Yeah, I think that's a draw. I think they're going to be battling it out for hopefully the bottom.
We shouldn't be fighting. We should not be fighting with Southampton, West Brom. If we are this season, there's something wrong with us. Sam, Wolves versus Fulham.
Well, out of those two, obviously Wolves are a potential rival, but they're not looking good this season. The Wolves, I don't think they're going to be a rival for us this season. To be honest, not really that worried about them. I'm thinking, but anyway, out of that game, I think Wolves are going to win that game. They're going to bounce back and win because Fulham are not looking good, and they're at Molineux as well. So yeah.
I'm going to skip. We're going to talk about Arsenal, Sheffield United in a second. I'll take Man United, Tottenham, and I'm going to take Man United to win because I hate Tottenham.
That's a good enough reason. It's a good enough reason.
Good enough reason, right? Tony, Aston Villa, Liverpool. We don't really have a dog in the race there, but Aston Villa could be decent, right?
Yeah, they could be. It doesn't really matter since Liverpool could be first or second. We're not going to catch them, so.
Yeah. Lumber Camp, thanks for telling everyone here. If you're watching it on playback, you're watching live, hit the like button. It's not for any commercial gain. Everything's free here. We don't hit you up for anything. We just ask that you hit the like button. It's going to help the channel grow and get more and more gooners in here. We don't want to grow crazily. We want to grow organically. We're trying to get to 1,000 by the end of this season. We'll see what happens. If you enjoy Tony interrupting me and me interrupting Gary, and hit the like button. All right. So I didn't even hear what you said, Tony, but I'm moving on.
We need a beer sponsor still.
See what you can do about that, Tony, will you? We'll go for about another 10 minutes, but we're notoriously bad timekeepers here. Just want you to know that. People who are watching on playback will know if this 10-minute prediction is correct.
25 later.
Tony, Sheffield United, I don't think they have a goal. I don't think they have a win. Arsenal are very, very Christmas-like in the gifts that they bring to teams. Are we handing out gifts on Sunday?
I sure hell hope not, but you never know with us. Hopefully we should go up and get the 3 points we should easily get. But
And hopefully if we have Gabriel in the lineup, he seemed to have solidified things a lot.
yeah,
One goal conceded when he's played.
he definitely needs to be in the starting 11 every Premier League game. I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be.
Will we win on Sunday, Sheffield United?
Yep.
Okay, all things going well. I want to announce right now we're going to do a watch along. Tony and Matt here are definitely in. We'll see if we can get a couple of other people or one more in. No pressure. If you want to drop in, I'll be dropping in from time to time, but we're going to get Matt here and Tony to do a watch along. If you want to be part of it, join them on Sunday morning or afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Hey, Gary, is Sheffield United going to win at the Emirates?
No. No.
They've had a very good season last season, but they are finding it the second year to be tough.
Yeah, no, I think if we've learned anything from these last two games, when we come into that Monday game, we play like the way we should. It shouldn't even be that. It shouldn't hopefully be a challenge at all for us.
Yeah.
But like you said, we are into the the Christmas spirit sometimes a little too much. So hopefully we've kicked that habit and we can move on.
Hopefully that's the old Arsenal. I want to see Aubameyang. He signed the contract. He hasn't scored since we played Liverpool, and not many teams score against them. But I want to see him get back on it. Only one goal, only one league goal this season. Sam?
Yeah, I think Sheffield United are struggling at the moment. Like you said, they haven't scored a goal. Their attack isn't very good. They haven't really got a good forward at the moment. So, but the thing is, like you say, it wouldn't surprise me if we managed to give them a goal on Sunday from a set piece or something like that, a corner or a free kick or something like that. But I do still think that at the end of the day, we are going to be too good for them, and I think we'll win. By a couple of goals, I hope. And I hope, like you're saying, I hope Aubameyang starts scoring again because it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. He'll get back into his rhythm and start scoring again. Yeah.
Quick question. We'll go anti-clockwise. Sam, I'll stay with you. Is it a failure if we do not sign anyone else in this window? Is the window a failure?
Yes, that is a failure, a big failure.
Sorry.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
We know where our problems are. We know we need to fix them, and we have players out there that are on our radar.
Yeah.
We need to get at least one of
And
them. Because
yeah.
it isn't going to happen overnight, of course, but we need to get at least one of them. We need to start rebuilding where we know we have gaps.
Yeah. I was hoping something would break today. Would be a little bit more gassed about signing an hour or a Partey.
Yeah.
And Tony, will we? I don't think I asked you if we'll beat Sheffield United.
Yeah, I said we'd beat them.
We will. Okay, because you get ornery if I leave you out on anything. I forgot if I asked you. So Tom, thanks for joining us.
Tom, mate.
I jumped on your podcast with Charlie the other day, and got to know Charlie pretty well, and got a soft spot for West Ham. They're probably my second favorite team in the Premier League. So very, very happy you jumped on Wolves, and that's how Premier League wins come. You get a couple of goals, and then you score a couple more, and before you know it, you've won 4-0. So a crazy result, but it happened. We all saw it, and let's hope West Ham can grab enough points this season to be safe. I think every Hammer would be happy with that. Unfortunately, they went out of the quarterfinals, so we're going to talk. If you want to cover your ears now, Tom, we're going to talk about the quarterfinals. But we wish you all the best in your league, in the league, and I for one hope you stay up anyway because West Ham always give us a tough game as well. All right, to make this quick, we'll go around the house again. Quarterfinals first. I got notes here. There we go. Tottenham Stoke. Tony?
Tottenham would probably win, but it'd be nice to see Stoke get the win.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were. Would you like to get Tottenham later in the competition and beat them?
Yep.
All right. Gary, Arsenal versus City.
Arsenal. I'm thinking Arsenal.
We make Pep talk to himself again this season.
I would like to see that again.
That was amazing, wasn't it? That was amazing.
I would like to see that again.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, I definitely no. Yeah, there's no way I'm cheering for another team. If they lose, I'm happy.
Well, yeah.
But I'm not cheering for another team.
I'm not asking you to pick City.
No. But I think we can beat them, right? We can.
Tottenham will win. Arsenal will win. Don't think any of us saw it coming. I'd rather not discuss everything. Good job, guys.
Cheers, Tom.
Yeah, and you guys are burning the midnight oil over there. I don't know what you're doing. Sam as well. What time is it there?
I'm crazy. 04:25 now.
Hey, Sam. Everton versus United. It's a tough one to call.
That is a tough game. Yes. I would actually maybe. Oh, it depends what teams they put out, right? I'm thinking both teams will probably. Both clubs will probably field a strong team. You know what? I think Everton will probably come out stronger there. I just think Everton they're looking good at the moment, and United are stuttering,
I'm going to call them DCL because I always struggle with the second two parts.
Calvert-Lewin's on fire. What they did is they showed us what we should do. They bought a midfield, and with that midfield they bought, all of a sudden, the attack is working, right?
Yeah, all the parts are moving together. Exactly. I'm going to finish this out with Brentford versus Newcastle, and I think if Stan is watching, he will want me to pick Newcastle because one of his relatives used to play for Newcastle professionally. So I think Newcastle, it's one of those where the two teams have sneaked past the bigger teams and they've got themselves into the quarterfinals. So I think Newcastle will get there. And Ray Anderson, thanks for joining us. Norma's gone. Everton and Newcastle. All right. I think we'll call it a day there. Sam, it's 4:00 in the morning. there.
Yep, nice and early. Yep.
It's 10:30 here, where Gary and I are. And
He'll be up in like 5 hours anyway. So
where's Gary? Where do you live? I know you're in the US, but where in the US are you?
I'm in New Jersey, just north of
New
where
Jersey, right.
Ray is. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
we're close geographically. And
What's Tony? Where do you live?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Oh yeah.
It's a good old hour there. 9:30, Tony, or
Yeah, 9:30.
right. He's got plenty of night to go, you know. But yeah, as mentioned earlier, we're going to do a watch along on Sunday. So Tony's volunteered. He likes to do them. Hopefully, Granit Xhaka is wearing the armband.
Please no.
Can I take those words back?
Ray, no, please. I mean, come on. I just got over, Elizabeth, man. Elizabeth, I'm coming. Keep bringing
It would be entertaining. It would be entertaining. I hope everybody enjoyed the podcast tonight. We move on. We beat Liverpool. It's a big thing. It's a small competition, but it's a big thing.
Yeah.
And we move on to the next round. The next round is middle of December. Concentrate on the Premier League now, Tony, and we go home to Sheffield United. I'm not sure if Ozil will play. I don't think he plays again even this season. That brings us up to get your predictions in. Put them in the comments down here. We're going to do predicted top 20s. After Sheffield United, get your list in the top 20s. We're going to give away a shirt or something. Predict every team in their correct position. Do it. It'll be fun for the rest of the season. We're also going to predict how many wins Arsenal gets, how many draws Arsenal get, and how many losses. Goals for, goals against. That'll be for another competition. So get them in. We're going to do a prediction podcast during the international break when everyone wants to watch football, but not international football. You know, it's 1:50, so we should sign off. We just about met it in time, Tony. Tony, final word, Tony.
It's nice to get a win today. Hopefully, we get a win this weekend. And
yeah, let's start winning because we actually like winning. It's a good thing, you know. Draws and losses have been overrated, Sam.
Very much so. We've had too many of those previously. So now it's time to steer that ship in the right direction, right? And I think that's what's happening now with Arteta as our new captain. But that being said, we need to get rid of Long John Silver, Pepe. Though I don't think he's going to be aboard for more than a season or two. I don't think. But yeah, but we're going in the right direction.
Nicholas Pepe.
Yeah, Long John Silver. My pet name for him now, Long John Silver. It's just a whole nautical theme, you know, captain of a ship and everything. And I was just thinking, Long John Silver, you know, we don't want him. You know, you can't have him.
I like Pepe. I want 25 goals or assists from him this season.
Really?
It can be done.
I can't see it happening.
I was definitely on that same boat that I wanted to see, you know, because he got 18 last year and last season, and I was like, if he can get over 20 goals and assists in a season, that'll be good. But I'm not seeing anything different than what I saw, you know, in that first part of the season where I was like, what are you doing? You don't look like you want to score, and you don't look like you want to pass.
It's going to click.
I know. But you know what? I think hopefully it clicks sooner than it did last season. Yeah.
Here's to you guys. Here's to everybody watching. And here's to another Arsenal win.
All right.
We go till Sunday. Watch along. Pre-game.
Paul Merson.
Hey, it's the Carabao Cup, but I'm going to celebrate it either way anyway. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks, Gary, Tony,
you.
Sam. And we'll see you on the next one. Take care, everyone.
Cheers, guys. Good night.
Cheers. All right, good night.